What's up? What's up? I'm Reggie and I'm finna react to this vid. It's called Sorry That a Dan Shinder. So we're going to react to Tracy Brown's. So we do this reaction video. So yeah, I got 100 on one of my study plans. Let's pop this reaction. Okay.
Look what the birds left me. A little feather, a little feather. Tickle you. I tickle you. A little birdie left me a feather, so I'm going to put it in my purse because animals will do that when they love you. And that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. They love me. But I haven't shown you the little garden that I made for them, thanks to driving me crazy, Miss Daisy. But she came up with a wonderful idea. Look, oh, thank you. Look at you guys. I have a book out on Amazon, and it's a gratitude journal, and it's for hope. It's where you put all your hopes down. Put your hopes. What do you want? I think I've learned over the years that if you don't state what you want as one factor and then write what you want as a second factor, and then even though you write what you want,
Hey
a
Hannah,
month from
baby, how you
now, you
enjoying
might
your trip?
change what you want. You might embellish. You might take something away. You might have been like, oh, wow, I asked for this, but what I really want is this. And you can just include it. And so the journal is
Okay,
to
let's go.
start that process of
It's
believing that
okay.
what you want, you can have. But if you keep it secret in the back of your head, you can't have it. So that is my gratitude. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's in the UK. It's in the UK. You just go to Amazon. You'll see it there. Let me see if I can put in the link for you guys. That's what I should have. I should have that available for you guys. No, it's in the UK. It's everywhere. These were themes that were meant for kids, but they were adult. Why didn't a boy, whoever the interviewer was, which I think he did a horrible job. Sorry.
Mhm.
Why didn't a boy, if you watched the show, if you took notes, young man, why didn't you ask him about taint? What's the name of that show? Pamela Taint? Why didn't you ask him about that? Who came up with that name? You did, Dan. So you don't get to play all innocent now. This was a kid show with kid themes, and if somebody was uncomfortable, say something, say something. Oh my God. I didn't know what tape meant. I thought I actually thought it was TATE. I didn't know it was TANT. And I certainly didn't know it was a place between this, that, and the third, between the anus. This is crazy. It comes from the top. It does come from the top. But it comes from the top in such a way where at some point they wouldn't question Dan. They had too much competition with Disney. So they let Dan do whatever he wanted. Yeah, Penelope Taint. Who authorized that name? Who did that, Dan? You did. And as much as you want to blame Nickelodeon as a corporation, when Nickelodeon questioned, when the rep questioned, you told everyone don't say anything to Nickelodeon. Did you watch the show with us? Then he started crying. Do you guys want to hear it? Do you guys want to hear it? Then he starts crying. Crying? And the tears came from a random place of
what does that
cute
mean?
tears.
That look like something like it mean like a dirty joke. It mean like something that's
Why are you crying at this point?
something up under the
Not at another point
or something. I don't know.
that would have had more effect. Okay, you guys want to hear it? Hold on. Hi, Vic Gang Chicks.
Okay, let's do a recap. So, lady, so you knew that this was going on, but you let your son stay there for 2 seasons. Not saying that she was a bad mom or she stayed on him, but when you seen that your kid was struggling with this stuff, why pull him out? Pull him out the industry. Point blank. Period.
Why is everyone spiraling over unskippable ads? Just download Pi and you'll never have to see another ad again. This Chrome extension takes 5 seconds to set up and it blocks ads on any website.
Hold on. Big Time Rush. I don't even know what that is, but it sounds familiar.
What happened with Big Time Rush?
Select. iPad. Like after watching it, like send those demons to the pits, I kind of felt depressed this morning. You know what I mean? Like I kind of felt depressed.
Maybe he was getting paid.
Like weird and sluggish. Okay, let me play the video. Take notes, everyone. Take notes. I'm gonna take notes too because I can't deal with this. Hold on. Wait, now I could do it this way.
That's a long ass reaction video.
People, I would say, I'm so sorry, and let's talk about it. And I wish you had a better time, and I wish I could have shown you a better experience. Yeah. No.
Dan Schneider, shut your fat, funky ass up. Cut it. Let's cut the jokes. Let's cut the jokes. Five. Tracy Brown went to you and said this was not right. I did not want my child painted where dogs are licking peanut butter off of him. But you still continue to let it go on. And you let it went on. Like, it didn't stop there. When the writer sued you, you still was the show runner and you still did wrong by people. Regardless, forget your apology. Fuck your apology, nigga.
Hundreds of episodes, thousands of jokes. But currently, where we are, some people think that some of those jokes are inappropriate for children.
You're not funny.
Boogie.
All these jokes that you're speaking of, that the show covered over the past 2 nights, every one of those jokes was written for a kid audience because kids thought they were funny and only funny. Okay? Now we have some adults looking back at them 20 years later through their lens, and they're looking at them and saying, yeah, that's appropriate for a kid show. And I have no problem with that. If that's
20 years ago, I said that's not funny. I'm not saying it today, Dan. I said it 20 years ago. And my son got fired.
Hey, Hannah, welcome back.
how anyone feels, let's cut those jokes out of the show. Just like I would have done 20 years ago or 25.
Okay, I think another parent. Wait a minute, I think. Did another parent go? Drake Bell's dad went and complained about Brian Peck. You enabled Brian Peck, and we will be doing a reaction video to Alexa's video. You enabled him. You had this man dressed up as a serial killer as John Wayne Gacy, and then it was in a TV show called Guys Like Us. I never watched the show because I wasn't born when the show came out. But I seen a clip, and you had Brian Peck dressed up as a John Wayne Gacy. So I have zero tolerance. If you have a written relationship with John Gacy, don't be my friend. The hell,
5 years ago, cut it. I want my shows to be popular. I want everyone to like it. The more people who like the shows, the happier I am. Yeah. So if there's anything in the show that needs to be cut because it's upsetting somebody, let's cut it.
So I think it's big for you to say with your work, if it's viewed as that today, you don't have a problem.
Cut it. Cut it.
I mean, that's a solution.
The last thing I want to ever do is put any content in the show that's going to upset my audience, make them want to turn off the TV. Why would I ever want to do it? It makes sense.
I want to give you an opportunity to kind of elaborate on something.
he's lying. Thank you, Hannah. Thank you. He is lying.
I don't know who this kid is. I'm not sure what show he's from. But this is definitely a coerced interview. You are not being well represented, young man, of the people that suffered at Dan's hands. You were a terrible interviewer. And the both of you should not have done this interview. Dan, you need to be sued. And young man, interviewing is not for you.
The thought process from the series is you had the power to just write a joke, and no matter what, it's going on TV. You just had that type of power. That's true.
The notion that I had the power to just produce whatever I wanted and have it here is completely false.
Okay.
There were many, many levels of scrutiny. Okay? We had executives in LA. We had executives in New York.
So two coats.
Two coats, okay, of approval, yes. And by the way, approval at every stage, really. Okay, I'm talking about wardrobe, I'm talking about makeup, sound, sets, dialogue, jokes, everything.
Now, when you say approval, these obviously that's a hierarchy, not your colleagues, not your work. Okay.
No, not my colleagues. No, these are my bosses. Bosses, and and they're approving all of this. Okay. And we're also shooting it in front of all sorts of adults and caregivers and the set teacher and the families. Everybody's watching it. And
when it comes to this type of industry stuff, they're like people who are like scared of losing their jobs if they spoke up about anything. If the set teacher spoke up, she would have probably been fired, just like Christy Stratton. So therefore, from the Amanda show, she worked the Amanda show. She literally went to a concert, and when she got back, she was fired. So therefore, if a parent would have spoke out, their child would have been fired. Lying behind.
if anybody had said anything, hey, we don't like that. That's not appropriate. It would have been cut out.
Now, I'm gonna push back a little bit because the series painted you in this way that you were just the guy that was doing what he wanted. And people were afraid to confront you about things. So just humor me, say that was the case. What would have been the ultimate way to,
Okay. If nobody on the set, if all of the dozens and dozens of adults that were on the set, if they didn't say anything, if my bosses said, if they insisted, you got to make a change here, you got to cut that, I had to do it. I had no choice.
got it. But this next one, it kind of hit close to home.
Did I miss something? Do I need to go back and listen to that? Let me see something. 7:16. Let me go back a full minute. Okay, let's go from here.
Makeup, sound, sets, dialogue, jokes, everything.
Now, when you say approval, these obviously that's a hierarchy, not your colleagues and people in the room. Okay.
No, not my colleagues. No, these are my bosses. Bosses, and then their bosses, and then.
This is how I know they talked. Because the young man that's giving the interview is like, well, when you say approval, he was supposed to say, what do you mean? But the young man goes, higher ups.
Their bosses. And they're approving all of this. Okay. And we're also shooting it in front of all sorts of adults and caregivers and the set teacher and the families. Everybody's watching it. And if anybody had said anything, hey, we don't like that. That's not appropriate.
The set teacher would have been fired. There are thousands of set teachers. Fire her. I said something. My son got fired. All right, whatever. Liar.
It would have been cut out.
Now, I'm gonna
You ugly for real. Like nobody wants you. I don't see why your wife don't want to claim you because she knows the disgustingness that you have been doing at Nickelodeon. Like you have no choice but to sue. You better hope Amanda Bynes don't sue your behind. You better hope not.
push back a little bit because the series painted you in this way that you were just the guy that was doing what he wanted, and people were afraid to confront you about things. So just humor me, say that was the case. What would have been the ultimate way to?
Okay, if nobody on the set, if all of the dozens and dozens of adults that were on the set, if they didn't say anything, if my bosses said, if they insisted, you got to make a change here, you got to cut that, I had to do it. I had no choice.
Got it. But this next one, it kind of hit close to home. Being a new father, I wouldn't be opposed to my child being in the entertainment industry. It doesn't matter what age. Seeing some of those on
Boogie, shut your ass up, Boogie. Like, you need to sit down somewhere with them ugly dreadlocks. You can't interview. You're not asking him the right questions. You need to ask him why did he exploit young children and put Ariana Grande in poses and whatever he was in the Glory and the People or whatever.
On air dare. Seen it now from where you are now in your life. What do you think of that?
I think that some of the on-air dare went too far. I think they pushed the envelope too far. Not all of them, not most of them, but some did. Nickelodeon wanted to do their version of Fear Factor. At the time we were shooting.
Thanks for the taps.
Notice how he keeps blaming Nickelodeon. I bet you there's nothing in writing where Hi. Hi, John. What's up?
I can give you a home, but I can give you a hat.
It shouldn't have never taken 20 years for you to have this discovery. Oh my God. Oh my God. Look at my veins.
And it breaks my heart. And I'm so sorry. I am so sorry to any kid who ever had to do a dare or anything that they didn't.
Apologize to my son personally. Say, I am sorry, Brian Hearn. I am sorry. I am sorry. Call out their names. Call out their names. Dan, you had little boys eating a scorpion. Are you kidding me? You had frogs jumping all over a little girl. Are you kidding me? No, no. Call out their names. I am sorry, Brian Hearn.
Want to do or weren't comfortable doing. We went out of our way to make sure they were safe and that everything was done properly. But if a kid was scared and didn't want to do it,
How was being submerged in some of those on-air dares safe? You're just lucky nobody died. There was one where one little girl was getting frogs all over her, and she had her mouth wide open on her back, and the frogs kept jumping on her face, and all I could think is a frog is going to jump in her mouth. It's going to jump in her mouth. Oh my God.
and I had to do it. Yeah. Period. The end. Right. And if I had known at the time, I would have changed it on the spot.
Raven.
Now, we also saw the series highlight two former writers, viewers, two women, who spoke about a wage discrepancy. I know that you don't divvy out salaries. Talk to me about that part.
Well, you're correct. I have nothing to do with paying writers. I never have. I've never made a writer's deal. And of all the writers I've been in the writer's room with, I never even knew how much most of them were getting paid.
Yeah, but we saw these two women who were writers for you sharing one salary. How does that?
Bimbo, what? Bimbo? Dan Shinder, the Bimbo? It talked about in the documentary how you made them split a salary. You're lying through your teeth, Dan. You're wicked. You're a wicked dude. Like, what is wrong with you? Like, you're lying through your teeth. Through those disgusting white teeth of yours. I just can't.
That happen?
It's very simple. There's a common practice in television when hiring writers. If you have a spot for a new writer, sometimes you'll go to two writers and say, hey, if you two new writers for your first job are willing to share a salary, you can both have the job. They have the opportunity to say, yes, that sounds good, or no, no, thank you. In this case, it was two women writers. I've done another show where that teaming was done with two male writers, and they split a salary. I did another show where it was a male and a female writer, and they split a salary. So these are all first time.
It still don't make it right. You should pay, if you're going to hire a writer, you need to pay them the full amount of salary. It does not matter. It's wrong. It's wrong. Wrong. Okay. But I see that because it does happen a lot in the industry. Where they make a writer split a salary. So that's weird. That needs to be looked into.
Time writers.
All first-time writers looking for their first gig.
Got it. Now in the series, they also highlighted two black. Clear. I'm never going to speak on.
I'm not going to give this one away.
Yeah, I can talk about my experience, how my experience was with you, what I saw prior to working with you. But again, I don't want to speak on anyone's journey. I saw you be honored for diversity in your work.
Yes, and the reason for that is diversity has always been very important to me in my shows. If you go back to the very first Nickelodeon show I ever made, that's very evident.
You racist piece of shit. If he lies one more time, yeah, I'm going to have to end the reaction video here if he tells one more lie. Because I've seen the documentary. I've seen some of the disgusting stuff he made Ariana Grande. He got one more motherfucking time to lie. Drop his Instagram, too.
as it is in the second one, and then the first movie I ever made for Nickelodeon, which starred Keenan and Kel, and every show I did after that had a lead black actor.
Okay, Keaton and Cal, you could not do nothing wrong. They were the most biggest stars in Nickelodeon. Like you could not, like it would have been a lawsuit. Like some of them went after like the younger stars, maybe I would say. But okay, then if you tell them a lie,
I'm very proud of that. It's very important to me. And not only am I proud that they were in my shows, I'm exceptionally proud of the achievements they've had beyond my shows. And they've gone on to bigger and better things. And that gives me a great sense of pride.
Well, something that really kind of bothered me was how they depicted your relationship with the cast.
Yeah, it bothered me too.
Yeah, just me being there, I knew the dynamic was trust. I understood that in situations where they may have had turmoil, whether it be with their families, whether it be other castmates, they came to you. Versus how they made you look. With that said, Amanda Bynes was brought up in the series and her emancipation and how you were involved in that. Can you talk to us about it a bit?
Sure. Amanda was between the ages of 16 and 17, and she wanted to get emancipated from her parents, which was a...
You don't have to be nothing nowhere near. Like stay in your place. You're her producer. You're her boss. Like why are you getting in the middle of what she like? No wonder why she just jacked up. Why she's so effed up.
Fairly common thing with successful young actors, at least at the time. And she wanted that for herself. So she turned to her team, which included her lawyer, her agent, her manager, her publicist, me, because she included me as part of her team, thought of me that way. We supported her. She tried to get emancipated and ended up not working out. She didn't.
Well, since we're here, let's stay here for a moment. There was also an incident where she had ran away from home.
Yes.
Can you talk to us a little bit just to clear the air of exactly what happened in that situation?
Yes. One night, it was very late, well after midnight, 1 or 2 in the morning. Phone rang. I answered. It was Amanda. She was upset. She was in distress. She had had some conflict with her parents, I think her father, and she called me. I was immediately concerned about her safety. I called someone who I knew was fairly nearby. That person was able to go and pick her up. Then I knew she was safe. I felt better. She ended up being taken to the police.
Well, regardless of what some people may think, I think it's only positive that you are there for people when they need you. That said, let's talk about some of the things that have just been...
Okay, what's going on?
Who is this kid? And was he touched by Dan? Who's this kid? I think it's very positive that when someone's in distress, they found you. And I think it's interesting that they found a black moderator to do this stupid interview. Were you touched, young man? Do you have something you need to confess? Because this is very awkward.
Probably.
In my opinion.
Real spit said probably.
I'm annoyed.
Whirling forever. Okay. You were banned from your set.
Never happened. That is a false rumor.
What happened?
Add it to the
Okay, I'm
list
done
of
with
false
this.
Talk to me. What happened?
This man is a habitual liar. So therefore, I'm going to end this reaction video here. Like and subscribe. And subscribe to my channel. I'm done with this. I'm done with Dan. Like, he needs to get him some mental help because his lies, he can't tell proper lies. Right. So we're going to end it here.